Hey guys, welcome back. Um, I just recorded like two videos, okay? And I'm at the studio, so it's a little different and I need to get used to it, but essentially I just recorded two videos for you guys and it's just not even usable content. So, I'm deciding to go live here. I'm going to get this thing out. That way, just go straight to YouTube. I don't have to worry about it because we are like, I'm straight up so annoyed. But I was just going to do a Rams wrap up video and then I was going to do another video, which I'll keep unnamed for now because the surprise. But it won't be too long. This live stream won't be too long, but I definitely wanted to. It's more of a presentation than kind of like an interaction, if that makes sense. But I just want to get it out because I just did like a bunch of work on it and it's just great. But yeah, what can you do, right? You live and you learn. And I appreciate you all for joining me. Uh, let's see. Okay. All right. So, this is putting a bow on the 2020-2021 Rams season. The Rams went 10-6 on the year. They bounced back from previous season, going 9-7, missing the playoffs. Sean McVay, in his fourth year, sent the Rams to the playoffs with a backup quarterback in Week 17. They went on to win a playoff game, winning against the Seattle Seahawks, who had won the NFC West. They beat them 30-20 and headed to Lambeau, where their season came to an unfortunate end. 32-18 was the final score in Lambeau against the Green Bay Packers. The Rams on the season were 22nd in the league in scoring, first in the league in defense. Being eliminated in the divisional round obviously is a bummer for the Rams, but overall, I thought it was a very good season. Looking at the quarterback position, Jared Goff, 15 games, 67 completion percentage, 3,952 yards, 20 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and 90 passer rating. It was an up and down year for Goff overall, and right now we don't really know what the future holds. But he played well when the Rams needed him to in the playoffs. As far as rushing, the Rams found rookie running back Cam Akers, got him going at the end of the season. 13 games he played in, 4.3 yards per carry, 625 yards, and 2 touchdowns rushing. Cam Akers is somebody that had a little bit of a rough go, had a lot of opportunities in the Cowboys game, and then the Eagles game, in a game where the Rams blew out the Eagles. Cam Akers had an unfortunate rib cartilage injury that you guys know very well, with, of course, Aaron Donald. But he also had the rib cartilage injury where a football punctured his rib cage, and he ended up coming back. He missed 3 games, came back, had 625 yards on the season. Darrell Henderson had 15 games, missed the last game due to a high ankle sprain against Seattle. He battled injury all season long, 4.5 yards per carry, 624 yards on the ground, and 5 touchdowns. And Malcolm Brown, who is going to hit free agency, 16 games, 4.1 yards per carry, 419 yards, 5 touchdowns. With the receiving game, Cooper Kupp, 15 games. He missed the last game due to an injury. 92 receptions, 974 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not injury, COVID. He missed the playoff game due to an injury, but he missed Week 17 due to COVID. Robert Woods played all 16 games, 90 receptions, 936 yards, 6 touchdowns. Josh Reynolds, 16 games, 52 receptions, 618 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tyler Higbee, the tight end, 15 games played, although it seemed like he was hurt all season long. 44 receptions, 521 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Gerald Everett, 16 games, 41 receptions, 417 yards, and a touchdown. It was another up and down year for Everett as he heads into free agency. Just like Josh Reynolds, the future is unknown. I lean towards the fact I don't believe either will be back. Van Jefferson, the rookie wide receiver, didn't get used a ton, but he was in all 16 games, had 19 receptions for 220 yards and a touchdown. He should be in for a breakout season next year. In the return game, many say Rams really need to find a new returner. Well, you could be right there. In the punt return game, Nasimba Webster led the team with 16 games played, 25 returns, 185 yards, and 7.4 yards per return, which is bottom half in the league. Cooper Kupp also had 9 returns in there for 50 yards, which is 5.6 yards per return, which is very, very bad and might end up putting him in the bottom of the league. Kick returning. Simba Webster had 16 returns for 347 yards, which came out to be 21.7 yards per return. Interestingly enough, Raymond Calais, the running back, claimed off of the Buccaneers practice squad, had 4 games played, 7 returns for 152 yards, and the same exact yards per return at 21.7. Keep in mind, it wasn't long ago. It really wasn't long ago in 2017, 2018, right around that realm, when you had Pharoh Cooper putting the Rams with a average of around 30 yards per return. So the Rams didn't have that this year, and obviously this offense didn't move the ball as well, or rather, they weren't as explosive as years past, and they definitely could have used a return game. Moving on to the kicking game, though, the Rams made the bold decision to move on from Greg Zuerlein, the man that sent them to the Super Bowl in 2018, the man that they called Legatron, and they moved on from him to basically pick Sam Sloman in the draft, who went 8 of 11, 18 of 21 from extra point, and they decided that was enough. They moved on to Kai Forbath. Forbath went 2 of 3, 4 of 5 extra point. And at the end of the day, Kai Forbath wasn't awful, but he wasn't great, and it didn't end up going well for him because he ended up suffering an injury. The Rams had to go to Matt Gay. Matt Gay came in, started the Tampa Bay game in which they won, 14 of 16 for the year, 16 of 16 extra point. I'd have to imagine he is the kicker of the future for the Rams. Young kicker, was very, very good for the Rams this season. Is excited, already tweeted it out. He's excited to get back to work, and is either horns up or Rams house or something along those lines, but gave the hashtag. So it's pretty. You'd have to expect he'll be back. Interceptions. Restricted free agent Darius Williams had 4 on the year, which led the team. Troy Hill, unrestricted free agent, had 3, which included 2 pick sixes. Jordan Fuller had 3 as well, 2 of which came against Tom Brady in the Tampa Bay game. John Johnson had 1. Kenny Young had a pick 6 against the Patriots on Cam Newton. Jalen Ramsey had 1, and Taylor Rapp had 1. Pass breakups. Darius Williams had 14. Troy Hill had 10. Jalen Ramsey had 9. John Johnson had 8. Jordan Fuller had 5. Taylor Rapp had 3. Forced fumbles. Aaron Donald led the way with 4. Everyone else had 1 between Hill, Rapp, Kaiser, Joseph Day, Fox, Floyd, Ebukam, and Hollins. Sacks. Donald, 13.5, led the team. Leonard Floyd, who is an impending free agent, 10.5, had more than Khalil Mack. Morgan Fox, another free agent, 6. Brockers had 5. Ebukam had 4, another free agent. Hollins had 3. Reeder had 3. Lewis had 2. Gaines had 1.5. Young, Day, Okoronkwo, and Polite all had 1. As far as tackle leaders, Johnson had 105. Reeder had 81. Kaiser and Hill had 77. Fuller had 60. And that is that for the stats. I didn't want to just read stats the entire time, and I was never going to do that. But I want to make this a just straight up, we're wrapping this season up. We're talking about it all. Cap space, estimated the Rams right now in 2021, they're estimated to have negative $21 million in cap space. That includes $8.4 million in dead money to Todd Gurley, and that also is actually solid news because that means Brandon Cooks is off the books. So no longer can Brandon Cooks hurt the Rams cap. That trade is now done. It's over. The Rams can't be harmed anymore. The Todd Gurley thing, the Rams knew they basically are paying extra money to not have him on the roster. We won't talk about how I feel about that, but that's where we're at on that. restricted free agents. These are guys, for those of you that don't know free agency very well, these are guys that they have no restrictions whatsoever. They are free agents as soon as free agency starts. They are no longer a Ram. Blake Bortles, 29 years old, quarterback. Malcolm Brown, a 28-year-old running back. Josh Reynolds, 26-year-old wide receiver. Gerald Everett, 27-year-old tight end. Austin Blythe, 29-year-old center. 27-year-old Morgan Fox at defensive line. 29-year-old Leonard Floyd, outside linebacker. Derek Rivers, 27-year-old outside linebacker. Samson Ebukam, 26-year-old outside linebacker. Troy Hill, 30-year-old corner. John Johnson, 26-year-old safety. And Jake McQuaid, 34-year-old long snapper. Restricted free agents. Johnny Munt, 27 years old, tight end. Darius Williams, 28 years old, cornerback. I imagine both of those guys will be back, but I'll get into that in a little bit. Coleman Shelton, the center, 26-year-old, is a exclusive rights free agent, which means the Rams are more likely to keep exclusive rights free agents. They're easier to obtain. Inside linebacker Trayvon Howard, coming off a major injury that ended his season, 25 years old. He is an exclusive rights free agent as well. And before we get into who the Rams I think will keep and who they won't, I'm just going to give you a projected lineup in 2021, assuming all free agents didn't return. Goff and Wolford at quarterback, because I'm not convinced either of them are the starter, 100%, sole starter. Running back Cam Akers, followed by Darrell Henderson as the backup. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, Andrew Whitworth at left tackle, David Edwards at left guard, Austin Corbett at center, Bobby Evans at right guard, Rob Havenstein at right tackle. I do tend to believe Rob Havenstein will be a cap casualty, but as of right now, that is the projected offense. The defense on the other side. Aaron Donald, Sebastian Joseph Day, Michael Brockers, Terrell Lewis, Micah Kaiser, Troy Reeder, Justin Hollins, Jalen Ramsey, David Long, Jordan Fuller, and Taylor Rapp. Now, I didn't mention guys like Terrell Burgess. I didn't mention other guys like Okoronkwo. That's how I have it right now. I think Burgess is a better player than Rapp personally, but we'll see. I know as I'm wearing the Rapp hat, that's kind of funny. And David Long. Why did I say David Long? Well, right now the Rams have two cornerbacks on the roster, Jalen Ramsey and David Long. Troy Hill is a unrestricted free agent, so more than likely could be gone. And Darius Williams is a restricted free agent. So while the Rams can match any offer and they can give tender and all that, he could still be gone. They could decide not to do it. He could be paid out of the sky, and the Rams might not be able to afford it. And for that reason, that's why I have David Long there, because it's assuming all free agents would not return. So that is what that lineup projected 2021 would be. Moving on, though, back to the free agents here. Blake Bortles is 29 years old, and he's an unrestricted free agent. The Rams could bring him back if they want. I think it's 50-50. I don't know if I necessarily see it long term. I don't know if he'll make the roster, but I could see them bringing him back. Malcolm Brown could be brought back because he'll be relatively cheap at 28 years old. I think Josh Reynolds and Gerald Everett are gone. I think they're ready to move on from them. Austin Blythe at 29 could be brought back, but if not, I have Austin Corbett sliding in there at center, where his previous position was. And what I'll also say is, they could definitely draft a center in the draft. Morgan Fox, I'm pretty high on. I hope the Rams bring him back, 27-year-old defensive lineman, but he had his best year, 6 sacks. A team could really overpay a guy coming off, a solid career year in, the number one defense. Keep in mind, this is going to be attracting a lot of attention. The Rams have the number one defense, and everybody knows that. Leonard Floyd, 29 years old, outside linebacker. The Rams obviously would want him back. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I'm also not saying that it's not going to happen or is going to happen. So at the end of the day, I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up for Leonard Floyd. I'd bring him back if the money's there, but I don't think the Rams necessarily have the money. Derek Rivers, I think he'll be relatively cheap, solid depth piece. Bring him back. Samson Ebukam could be brought back, but here's the thing. I could easily see him getting overpaid by another team that just kind of looks at the fact that he was on the number one defense and not really what he did. Troy Hill, another one that can get overpaid. There's a lot of teams that have a lot of cap that just aren't very good and make poor decisions, so I wouldn't be surprised that they spend a lot of money on Troy Hill, who I like, but I wouldn't spend, I wouldn't, load up on Troy Hill per se at 30 years old. John Johnson should be gone. I would love to have him back, and I'm sure the Rams would love to have him back, but at the end of the day, I don't see there's any way to sign him. He is one of the top free agents on the market, 26 years old, perfect age, and he is a top five top five safety to this point, right now. So I don't know if he'll be back. I can't say for sure. He did say goodbye to the Rams. If this is goodbye, it's been fun type of deal on his Instagram. But yeah, I mean, he'll be a big loss. But the Rams have also, they've lost guys in the past like a Darian Stewart, Rodney McLeod, Mo Alexander. So they're very familiar. Adam Archuleta, when he signed with the Washington Redskins at the time, OJ Atogwe. So, I mean, there's all sorts of guys, all sorts of safeties in Rams history that have been, let go and have moved on. And John Johnson would be the first. LaMarcus Joyner as well when he went to the Raiders. Jake McQuaid's an interesting one. Obviously, the money should be fine to pay Jake McQuaid. He's 34. I'm not really worried about that because he's a long snapper. But if they keep Bonamego, I don't know. I think he'll want his own long snapper. I'm not, for the record, I'm not happy if they keep Bonamego. I don't think they should, but if they do, look out at that. The restricted free agents, Johnny Munt and Darius Williams, I think will 100% be back. I think that I'm pretty certain on that. Coleman Shelton and Trayvon Howard, the exclusive rights free agents, I'm pretty confident they'll be back as well. Pretty cheap. So that's how I have that. And then expected draft picks. First round was traded to Jacksonville for Jalen Ramsey. Second round pick. Third round pick. They get another third round from the Dante Fowler compensatory pick, who signed with the Falcons. They get another third round for the minority coaching hire compensatory pick when Brad Holmes signed with the Lions, or was hired by the Lions to be their GM. Fourth round was traded to Jacksonville for Jalen Ramsey in that trade. So they would be getting the Corey Littleton compensatory pick after he signed with the Raiders. And fifth round was traded to Cleveland for Austin Corbett. So they will not have a fifth round pick, but they will have a sixth and a seventh. So altogether, that's 7 picks. We'll go more in depth with the draft in general, but again, it's going to be more of a generalization of the draft. It's going to be focusing. I'm going to be doing all sorts of stuff. So I just wanted to get this out there because I spent a lot of time on the video prior, and it's just not recoverable. It's very bad. The quality's awful. I just not very happy. So yeah, that was all I wanted to put out there. Appreciate you guys tuning in. But that's that. I mean, at the end of the day, I would have liked to have, that not happen, but it did. So, we made the most of it, but hope you guys enjoyed. For those rewatching this, appreciate that. And we'll have more videos and such. Just kind of deflated based on the fact that I lost all that. Not lost it because the content's still there, but I'm not super happy with everything kind of going the way it was. So again, I appreciate you guys, and guys, take care.